everyone, I'm Jennifer Blevin-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today we're going to talk about bookkeepers versus certified personal accountants or CPAs and what their roles are because they are different and why you should have one of each. Most likely you have already been in contact with a CPA, hopefully, if you've thought about opening your own practice. Finding a CPA who knows about the medical field and medical reimbursements and starting up a new medical practice is super beneficial for you because they can help review the budget that you put together, a business plan, and give you some guidance when it comes to some of the things to expect, especially within the first 3 to 6 months of opening your own practice. Most likely also, the CPA will have someone that works with them or they can recommend that's a bookkeeper that's also familiar with working in the medical field. I say this is important than just hiring any random bookkeeper because you're going to need your bookkeeper to be looking at things from insurances and kind of understand what it means. Let's jump in a little bit further. A bookkeeper is going to be someone you hire that's going to help with your day-to-day accounts receivable and accounts payable. They're going to manage your QuickBooks account or whatever other software you choose to use to inventory and keep track of everything that's going in and out of your accounts. They will have access to your accounts, or they will need access to your accounts, and they're going to help you establish basically everything from when bills are due to be paid and how to be able to structure how much money you have in your account and when to pay bills at the last minute if you have to, especially when you get up and running. And they are going to be in conversation with the CPA because they're going to make sure they set up your accounting of charts appropriately and making sure that you will be set up appropriately for your taxes when you need to file. Now, every state is different for their business's expectations and what kind of business formation you have of when you need to pay taxes and when you need to submit taxes. So the CPA will guide the bookkeeper on this and they'll work closely. The bookkeeper is going to be the one that is going to be reconciling your bank account every month, making sure that what goes out and what comes in is actually doing that. And they're going to also be working closely with your office manager or your COO and yourself to make sure that things are getting collected appropriately, reconciled appropriately at the front desk with patient payments, and also working a little bit with your billing staff or with your billing company. The one thing the bookkeeper does in medical offices that I'm not sure everyone knows about or does, but is very, very important, is having access into the bank account where electronic fund transfers or payments from insurances come in. They will have to learn how to run reports or receive reports from the billing company of what was expected to be paid from an insurance company, and then they will go in and confirm that that amount was indeed received. So let's say that Blue Cross Blue Shield says that they're going to pay you $600 for 3 different claims. And they're probably for 3 different patients, maybe not, but most likely they are. And we get an electronic remittance advice, which is like an explanation of benefits, but it's for the business doctor side of things, explaining how much was adjusted off, how much the patient's responsible for, and how much the insurance paid, if anything. Now, the bookkeeper will be in communication with either the billing company or the manager who will be able to provide with access to or reports that are going to tell them how much they need to be looking for from each payer in the account. So if this is on the report that says we should be getting $600 from Regents in a certain time frame, then the bookkeeper will keep their eye out by checking the bank account and ensuring that the insurance did send that money. Now, if it comes in a paper check, it's a little bit easier to reconcile, but at the same time, it needs to be reconciled. Having someone with insight into that and keeping track of that is super important. Just because things can happen and you want to do your due diligence to make sure you're receiving all the money you should be from insurances. They also will be a second set of eyes to make sure your manager or whoever's doing the deposits are doing those correctly. The front desk is collecting the money correctly at the front desk, whether it be co-pays, co-insurance, or any kind of patient balances. They're really going to give you a good feel of what's going on financially in your business on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. They'll communicate with your CPA as needed, but your bookkeeper is basically going to be your go-to person. The CPA, on the other hand, is going to have the overall look of everything, the health of the business, and be able to guide things or suggest some troubleshooting things that might need to take place in order for you to have a more healthy financial situation for your business. The bookkeeper and the CPA are basically the doctors of the health of your financial part of your business. They're going to work closely with yourself, but also a designated person within your clinic if you're not available, or both of you, which is always a good idea. Mostly it's going to be a manager or a COO, and they're going to make sure that they're communicating what they're finding and suggestions so that it can go down the pipeline to where it needs to go. The CPA is also going to help you file your taxes as needed, depending on your state and your business setup. If you're an S-Corp or an LLC, whatever it is, they're going to be able to guide you on that. And they're also hopefully going to set you up on a plan that they can do like a retro analysis every so often, like a quarterly basis or half a year, and go over everything that's gone on and show you trends or places that need improvement. But they'll also be able to help you set up a budget for the following year. And you can tell them, okay, we're looking at needing to update some computer software or hardware, or we're going to need some new equipment, and how much kind of that will be, so that they can help set you up for success and include that in your forecasting for next year's budget. If you need to hire more staff, they can do that for you. Anything that comes to finances, they will be able to help guide you. That's why it's important to have someone who is experienced in medical business and medical field, because they will understand kind of the trends and be able to give you suggestions based on other clients that they've had. And if they've been in business a while, they'll have a lot of resources and tools available to you as well. But making sure that everything is set up from the get-go correctly is huge. Making sure that you have a bookkeeper who's involved with you even before you open the doors as you purchase things would be very helpful. You want to keep track of all the capital equipment that you purchase and everything else that you buy, because that's going to be important for documenting and keeping lists to provide for taxes and many other reasons, including inventory and helping see what you did spend versus what you anticipated spending. And you just get so busy as the provider owner that is something that unfortunately kind of goes by the wayside, and you just keep collecting receipts and it gets kind of out of hand before you even realize it. So if you have someone who can set up your chart of accounts in whatever software you want, like QuickBooks, and start entering this in real time as things get paid, as things get bought, it's going to be a huge weight lifted after you open your doors and be able to provide this to the CPA. It's very overwhelming as somebody who's going to help someone who didn't have a bookkeeper and had the best intentions to enter the information as it happened, but they weren't able to because they were too busy and stretched too thin, to go back and try to catch up on all of this. It's going to take more than one or two people to help get you caught up to a place where you need to be. The other thing I want to say that's really important before I end this video is that if you have someone tracking what's going in and out of your account even before you open your doors and keeping real-time documentation, they're going to be able to tell you what is actually in your bank account. Because if you're just logging into your bank account and looking at the balance and what's available and not paying attention to what has processed or what hasn't, and you're just going off of that and keep buying and ordering, you're going to be kind of bit in the butt, pardon me, when it comes down to everything processing, and you thought you had more money and you still have ways that you need to things to spend money on and purchase to get up and going, and the money's not there. I don't want anybody to be in that situation and scrambling and trying to figure out how they're going to make their first payroll or their second payroll. Do know that the first 3 months of opening a practice is definitely the hardest when it comes to the finances, but if you have the right people in place to help you, you'll get through it and you'll be able to look back and be like, oh, that was rough, but we got through it and now we're humming on pretty good. The other hard time is deductible season, and they'll be able to help you anticipate this, hopefully, and get you through deductible season without a lot of stress. If you have any other suggestions in your experience, leave it in the comments below. And if you know of any good CPAs in your area or bookkeepers, and put that in the comments for your colleagues and let them know where you're located. And, let's use this as a forum to help one another. Hit the thumbs up if you think that this was helpful information. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Hit the bell icon to be notified as I release new videos. Thank you so much for the support, you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week.